Welcome back. Today we're going to dig into the tarot spread that my sister created for the aliens among us. And I picked out a few different decks that I could use, and this one has that in there. So let's get on with it, shall we? So I did pick the Goyesha because, I mean, aliens could be fallen angels, right? So this might give me some deep insight. And I think this one, I'm going to use this one too. Or I am deciding which should I use. Maybe, because this is just gonna, let me show you this one real quick, because this is also the cosmic, show us your cosmic decks. And this was one that my daughter got me quite a few years ago. And I mean, it's Russian, but I mean, like when I first got it, it was like really hard to read. These are the backs. It was really hard to read because I was very much a novice, and I still am, but at least I know which ones are which. So this one still might be, you know, a little bit difficult. Like, I believe those are wands, so that would be the Three of Wands, but that doesn't make sense, does it? So maybe it's the Three of Swords. Yeah, I'm not going to use this one. Yeah, yep. Yeah, pretty sure these are swords. Yep. Yeah. Huh. I don't know. I could clarify which ones are which, because this is actually, you know what? I changed my mind. We're going to use this one. So let's set this one aside. We're going to use that one. And then for clarification, I think I will use my Fallen Angel. Yeah, I think I'll use that one. Let's see. So let's take a look at this one, because this was one of the gifts that my sister gave me. And I was thinking, you know, quantum, we're talking about a quantum, you know, it's very cosmic to me because, I mean, one look at it, cosmic is like everything outside of the 3D. I mean, but it's all interconnected, you know what I mean? So I feel like it's all part of that quantum field. So, yeah, these are very cosmic, I think. Yeah, okay. But for the reading, we will use the alien, the UFO tarot, and either my Fallen Angel Oracle, because I've showed these before. These are very, these are the dark Goyesha, and this doesn't give me a whole lot, the book, but the artwork is amazing. And it's just black and white, you know, but it would just be like, it would be a little bit harder to read too. There's a lot of information in these, but yeah. With these, I always have to look up the fallen anyway. You know what I mean? I need to look it up and see what each demon was, what they were responsible for, what they could help with. Those are the backs. This was also a gift from my daughter. She's my youngest. The one that just got her bachelor's in psychology. She always gets me tarot. And I love it. So yeah, okay. But we're not going to use these today. So let's see what else. Also have this one that is very cosmic. But in a, almost like a, now this, I would say this is very new agey, you know. So, but I'll show you if you have not seen these. Very colorful. And those are the backs. Very, again, golden future, so it's very futuristic. So I think I'm not going to use these for any clarification today because we are talking about a past incident and addressing if there was anything else that I need to know from that, you know. But this is very cosmic, you know. Just the colors alone are like so vibrant. Very frequency, you know, the frequency is just really high. I have the Divine Masters. So these are, I think of angels also, you know. So there's those. I have that. And then I was also thinking that Hidden Realms, but that's more like Fae, I think. But, you know, there's definitely a crossover with paranormal and alien and Fae. So, but for this, we are going to use, again, my UFO. So we will establish what those are. And then we will establish the major from the minor. And then let's get into this spread. All right. We are back. I had a refresher on which is which as far as defining which is the suit and, you know, which image represents the suit that I'm looking at, and, you know, the king and queen and, yeah, the court cards. And then I got out my fallen angel oracle cards, and these were a gift from my friend Maria over at Lady Knight of Avalon. So we are going to use these as clarifiers. So I'm going to ask that my higher self give me some answers. You know, let my subconscious go back to that time and get some answers about what it all means, you know. Is there anything that I need to know, or that maybe I'm not remembering for a reason? But I'm going to use that spread. And the first card is the veil. What is blocking or obscuring my memory of contact? Because I don't remember the actual physical abduction. Again, in my mind, I am floating through a ceiling. And I think that that is, you know, like, I used to think, well, did I change my molecular makeup somehow? You know, I think everybody's kind of thought that. How do they do that, right? Yeah, I think there's a lot more involved in it. So what is obscuring my memory of this? All right, now that is a wand. And this is the Page of Wands. So I think that there's some message. You know, there is a message. So what is it? What is it? I think I'm going to need a little, maybe some clarification. So that's the Page of Wands. That's the veil. Like, there is a message that needs to come through. Maybe we can get something from clarification here. Persuasion. Ooh. So what is it? Okay. I think this pretty much says it. My memory was messed with, okay? My memory was messed with, and that's why. So if my memory was messed with, and in other words, maybe they took that part, or I was so under the, sometimes there's like, I know that there's certain things that I don't remember when I dream now. And I think that has everything to do with the state that my brain is in, the waves, the brain waves, the brainwave activity. And if there are advanced beings involved or whatever, then what I am remembering is what they couldn't manipulate. In other words, they couldn't do anything with my subconscious. My subconscious is always aware. And so that's why I don't think they wanted people to remember certain things. But understanding that when you are not in your physical body, what's remembering, what you're seeing is something on the astral plane, and they can't do nothing about that. It makes sense. Yeah, I think let's leave that there. Okay, so the next question is the trigger. What event, symbol, or sensation is tied to this forgotten moment? So what event, symbol, or sensation is tied to this forgotten moment? So a trigger, we're looking for a trigger. What event? Maybe it's something different. Okay, another wand, 8 of Wands. So when things are moving quickly, things not... How about a little clarification on that? When something is moving quickly or efficiently, or, time does that, right? So what event, that may be something to do with time. Oh, that's it. Spirit of nature. Oh, wow. Okay. Let's see what it says in the book about spirit of nature. 6. Air, Venus, time to escape modern life for the simple pleasures of nature. Barbados can appear in dreams and visions as a beautiful archer on horseback in a forest, surrounded by 4 other angels who are playing a fanfare of trumpets. She is a nature spirit who understands the speech of all living creatures. There's always a cat involved. So cats are the trigger. Cats are, wow. It has probably something to do with my subconscious. Let's leave it at that right now. But I think that's very important, right? So let's put those 2 together. All right, so the next question is the presence. Who or what was there during the contact? This would be species, energy, and archetype. Who else was there? King of Pentacles. Somebody very much in control of the physical, right? Yes. I would definitely say that's somebody very much in control of the physical. A king, an authority of that. Well, I know what I'm thinking. Again, in a group of individuals. So somebody was ahead of that group. took part in this. A leader. Oh, wow. Huh. Interesting. Let's see. So this was that's 1, 2, 3. Now the next question is the environment. Where did this happen? Craft, dreamscape, physical location. Okay. All right. I know where it happened, but maybe give me some more. I mean, this was in my home. Okay. All right. Huh. Well, that's interesting. So we're looking at community and afterlife. That's what I mean. Seriously, that's like what I'm. Remember what I said is that. Okay. So with the King of Pentacles and community coming up with location and all of that, so this was happening in the community, and this was something that was happening. It was a paranormal. It was definitely paranormal. And also, yeah, I feel like this is confirming my idea that what I remembered on the astral plane, what I saw on the astral plane was very interdimensional, ghost-like. But this was also taking place in the community, in the physical. But yet there was some transitioning stuff. Wow. Yeah, I don't think I need any clarification on that. Let's see, let me move these over a little bit. Okay, so now the next question, moving on, that was 5, now 6 is the method of contact. So how they reached me: physical, astral, telepathic, dream download, abduction. Okay. Obviously, I know I have my ideas, right? Oh. Yeah. So the 5 of Pentacles is very much, hardship. So, okay, this I'm going to want clarification on. So, we're looking at the method of contact. So they're invoking, they were trying to invoke fear in me. You know what I mean? Like, I was definitely feeling like it was a nightmare, so a time of hardship. I couldn't, it wasn't something I could tell other people about. So that put me in that mindset. Well, let's see. So clarification. So how would be to evoke that was how, because I think that the Greys were glad, something, if they're invoking that, military's just putting something in my ankle, this group, their research is just putting something in my ankle, and the Greys had a different intent. Maybe the large Greys or whatever is another form. Like, some people say that the aliens are us from the future. Well, I think that if you're seeing, large Greys, that your subconscious is, trying to make sense of little Greys and large Greys. So it's like children and adults, and, you know, something on the astral plane. And so, okay, I need to get back at it. We're looking for clarification here. I think this is saying, yes, you got it. I really do. I think that that's what that's saying, but we'll look up 21. Sitri is a very beautiful but mischievous angel who delights in inflaming the libidos of both men and women. In the Middle Ages, she was often blamed for otherwise inexplicable outbreaks of nude, frolicking, and licentious behavior. Well, I do think that this is just, when it says celebration, it's that you got it. You're on to something. All right, moving on. The purpose, why they initiated the encounter. Take the top one. No, we'll take both. We'll take both, since they did come out like that. So we're looking at enlightenment for one, right? And wow. So enlightenment and then Six of Pentacles. Yeah. Wow. Okay, so I'm thinking of the grays right now, because I don't think that the military, yeah, because if they're looking at it, look at that too. Okay, so they were working together. I think that they were doing things against their will. Okay, I think that these little grays or whatever are doing things against their will. And if they are children, hybrid children, then they're kind of doing things because they're told to, but yet they're finding out their own things, you know, because they're able to see on the astral plane like we are. I don't think the military was able to see those things. So it was enlightening for myself. It was enlightening for them, even though they were working for them and they were looking for their own answers. You know what I mean? To me, that makes sense. Everybody was looking for answers, and I received enlightenment. Everyone received enlightenment through a type of, you know, because I'm telling you, that gray put me at ease. He made me feel like everything was going to be okay and not to worry. So there was generosity there. There was consideration on his part. Not theirs, obviously. All right, the next question is interference. Oh, I'm sorry. No, the memory fragment, the crucial detail trying to resurface. Ooh, okay. The memory fragment, the crucial detail trying to resurface. Ooh, this ought to be good. Something I might be missing or that I need to remember, right? Yeah. Oh. How many are there? Oh, that's quite a bit. Well, let's see what story they say, right? Okay. Oh, there's 4 here. Wow. Well, I think that makes a lot of sense. You know, this is a secret from the other side, the High Priestess. And then we've got the 2 of Swords. So a crossroads, a decision, right? Wow. And look at that. Again, I think a deal was made, but it doesn't mean that all of these, it's like when we're made to do something, it's just, wow, yeah, okay. And then the 10 of Wands. So there were many burdens, right? Many burdens. So again, I think I understand this. 4 of Wands. Wow. And look, it's like they're coming home to something. And that looks haunted. Okay. this really makes me think that the memory is that I'm remembering, or I need to remember again, the stigma that is put on the bad. You know what I mean? As they're bad too, but I don't think that they are. I don't think that they are. I think that the story we were told that Eisenhower made a deal and that it was against his will. I don't think it was these beings that had such a malevolent, as much as it was who was the leader. Okay, who was the leader? I don't think it was Eisenhower. I think it was someone else, a secret group, head of a secret group. Again, God of the physical realm, right? The physical world. I know who I think that is. He's the one that's at play here. He's the one, and think, I mean, our biggest debates are over, the unseen things, right? The things that I'm getting probably religious or spiritual, but I think that, I know what I think. And so I think that I'm on to something, definitely. And that someone is trying to make these extraterrestrial beings out to be bad. I think they were used, but they had their own agenda. Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't think I need any clarification on that either. Maybe some more meditation. All right, the next question is the interference. Who, what, erased or suppressed the memory, and why? Well, I'm pretty sure I know the answer to that too, and I think there's two answers to that. One is me and one is them. I think they don't want you to remember, again, because they're trying to create a narrative here. Okay. So we've got the 9 of Wands. Oh, being prepared for something. But wow. And then we also have the 6 of Wands. So, okay. Okay. So, the interference, I'm looking at the thing. So, who or what erased or suppressed the memory, and why? Okay, so we've got somebody who was preparing for something and wants to be victorious, right? How about some clarification on that? But that's describing who these people are. So someone who is preparing for something and wants to be victorious. So it's research, right? It's definitely some research. Somebody who's doing research. I think they've created a narrative, haven't they? We can see an agenda just in the narrative that's been created. But when people truly dig and get answers, really think about who it is that's truly doing the abduction, or it's made to look like it's like someone else is being framed. This is just my opinion, but yeah, I think I'm definitely onto something here. I think the malevolent are those in the physical, in the 3D. I don't find that in the interdimensional beings. I mean, there are those. I do. I don't believe that there aren't. I think there are malevolent interdimensional beings just as much. Oh my. So remember, we asked who or what is responsible, right? Who or what erased or suppressed the memory, and why? The Phoenix. So it's Something that is going to rise again. You see it, history repeating itself, right? So it's whoever is creating this agenda, whoever is going to be responsible for a invasion, it was them. And I do not believe that any invasion, I could be wrong, I could always be wrong, I'm just telling you where I'm at right now, that it's something other, something right here, right now, in this physical realm, again, a very, King of Pentacles. Yeah. Okay. Someone who's behind it all. All right. The last question. The integration. How to safely unlock, remember, and integrate without trauma. God, I also think somebody else just rose again, didn't they? All right. Okay. Okay. Oh. This is the Queen of Wands. This is who I am at my core. How can I integrate without trauma? It's just be me. And not be afraid just to be all of who I am without inhibition. Yeah, it's don't let, she doesn't like fear. No, she's not inhibited. In fact, she embraces her power, right? Yeah. And she is bodacious. She's audacious. She's all of those things. Yeah. She puts herself out there. So there's no fear in that. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I don't even think I need to clarify for that. I would say, if I was to recap all of this, I see... Again, I see the community was going through this, and I think that the whoever this person is, he was in touch with all the key players and said, okay, we need to do this, and we need to do it under the guise of, these are the bad guys. These aliens, they're the bad guys, and as long as we roll with that, they're not going to truly understand our agenda. They have their own agenda, and we can give them what they want, plus we can get what we want. And when the time comes, when we rise again to take control, everyone will believe that these are the bad guys, right? But we're all the same. Them being us in a future aspect, it's like, yeah, especially if we understand that who we are on the astral plane can't be touched. It just can't be touched. It's who we really, really are. And if we're seeing this stuff, we're remembering what's on the astral plane, we're remembering the truth. What's manipulated is what was in the physical. Yeah. This is important. I thought this is very important. Yeah. This was excellent. Oh my gosh. I'm just, you notice they show this military and they're always holding, this is a really good deck, and I think it really speaks volumes. I'm glad I picked it. And I think my subconscious said, yes, Carly, you need to pick that deck. Fallen angels are also us too, right? I do believe that. We have a light and a dark side. We are the shadow. We are the light. As we all are. Wow. Okay. This was wonderful. I need to end this because otherwise I could just keep, going on and on and on. And anyway, thank you so much, Rachele, for the spread, and thank you to my sisters in the Sisterhood chat, and I hope you all partake. And thank you so much for spending this time with me, and I will see you in the next one.